What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Atticus. How are we today? How's the volume sound? You guys hear me okay? Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Okay. So yeah, how you guys doing? Saw Marilyn Manson. It was a really good show. Had a lot of fun, and in the theme of dark gothic, I thought I would go a little chaos, change it up. We also had a viewer request that I change a little bit up from the Dark Elf. So today I'm bringing you guys a little Chaos versus Norsca. So this is a really good matchup for Norsca usually, just because they have so many tools for dealing with anti-large. I mean, pretty much their whole kit is for monster killing. So you got to be really careful. I never really recommend bringing Kolic on this matchup. And I thought I'd actually change it up and try to catch him surprise. So I brought a Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Fire, on a dragon. So this is going to have several good uses. We can use the breath attacks. We'll have the mobility. The dragon has, I think, 500 weapon strength. So all together, we're going to be, have a lot of tools to deal with Norsca. So for my army, we'll go ahead and just show you guys here. I did bring two Marauder Horsemasters, and these guys were in Vanguard, and you can see that he had the same idea, and we ended up landing right on top of each other. So I actually have the advantage here because both my men. Just a little tip, guys. When you do Vanguard something in the front, put on the melee attack, option. So therefore, if something like this happens, you could just click right away and get them to collapse on them. They're still going to shoot even if you have the melee attack on, but it gives you an easy. It removes one step that you don't have to do when you're when you have a really cool grab like this. That's going to be 600 points for me. I'm gonna get ahead. So. For my army, I brought 3 units of Chaos Warriors with great weapons. These guys have really good armor piercing, and they'll trade. They'll actually beat Marauders with great weapons, I do believe. We'll see here. 38 to 35 is their stats. Let's look at Marauder great weapons here. 36-30. So yeah, the Chaos Warriors do have the advantage here, and they're a lot cheaper. So keep that in mind, guys. So I have 3 of those. In the back, I brought 1 unit of Chosen of great weapons, and this was a little bit of a mistake. I meant to bring the Halberds, the anti-large variant, but I must have clicked on the wrong one. But seeing what my opponent brought, this is actually pretty good. I got kind of lucky. And then I have a Chaos Warrior with Halberds on the right side here. So these guys are going to be, my anti-large contingent. We're going to be dealing with mammoths, Throg, anything large. These guys are going to be, my line of defense. Also brought the Soul of Damnation, and when you're playing on a really big open map like this, this is ideal for artillery. There's no trees for them to hide, no hills. So, if ever there's a map for this kind of, this unit, this is it. Also on each side, just to pad out my numbers, I brought Chaos Marauders. And, they have shields. They have a little bit higher melee defense than the armor-piercing variants, so they'll last longer. And that's kind of what I want, just to pad out my numbers. Make it easier for my Soul of Damnation to get some hits, hold them in place. Also in the middle, I brought 1 unit of Aspiring Champions, and the reason you do this, for anybody who doesn't know, is that Aspiring Champions have Encourage. So they'll actually keep your men in the fight a lot longer, help deal with, any terror-causing units you might have had. So yeah, I also got my Lord with Fire Magic, and for the spells, I did bring, let's see here, let me click on it. I brought Flamestorm, Burning Head, and the Flaming Sword of Ruin. So I don't really use the Vortex spells that much, but I figured let's try it. If we're gonna go fire, let's go balls to the wall. So we have a lot of damage potential with those spells, and you're gonna see here in a minute how that goes. So that's for my opponent. He brought same idea as me, 2 units of Marauder Horsemen. Luckily for me though, he didn't put them together. For his front line, he did go 1, 2, looks like, very elite, 4 units of Marauder Champions of great weapons. And I showed you guys the stats. Chaos Warriors actually have the advantage on that, so just keep that in mind. He also has a couple of Norscan Warhounds. Let's see if he has another unit. He also has the Beast of Tashnar. So these are the anti-large. And they're really good. I mean, they're cheap, and they'll do their trick. You don't ever want to take them. If you're playing this unit, don't ever, have them charge into a unit of cavalry. Have another unit take the charge, and then them, follow in and do their damage. Because they won't last long. They have 15 armor, and 25 melee defense. You can't really rely on them on that regard. So, also have good old Granddaddy Throg. And for this matchup, Throg is the safest pick. Just because, if I would have brought Kolic, or even with my dragon stuff, he has that really good armor piercing. Frostbite slows units around him, and he has anti-large. So he also brought the Premier Warriors of Great Weapons, and these guys are always a really good pick, especially if you're going to go this heavy, expensive on your infantry, just because they have armor sundering, which, if you really think about it, though, you don't really need that if you're going to bring the actual Great Weapons variant, just because it doesn't matter if you sunder the armor, because these guys have armor piercing. They're going to go through it. So maybe the what am I trying to say? Well, he could have been using it for his anti-large variant. So if he's going around that mindset, I guess. But if you're using it just to support your infantry, just keep that in mind. So, sorry, my phone's going off here. We also have 2 units of Marauder Hunters of Javelins, and yeah, I love pretty much any army you build with Norsca, you want to have these guys. I would recommend maybe separating them, because if I was to get one unit in there, it would tie them all up. So you guys, if you're going to do that with archers or any kind of ranged unit, put a little space between them. That way, they can support each other if I get back there. And looks like he brought a Famir Balefiend of Shadows. Spell-wise, let's look what he brought. Enfeebling Foe, looks like the Pendulum and Miasma. So, yeah, pretty good, pretty elite, pretty strong. A lot of armor piercing here. So we'll see how the match goes, guys. So, just starting. I got this really lucky catch right here. So that was a good start. So you can see right here, guys, I collapsed my units on him almost instantly. And if he was smart, he would come in there and get a nice rear charge. But he might have got nervous or something like that. You're going to see that my Hell Cannon is going to start, getting some hits here on the Marauder Champions of Great Weapons, but we got a good old swing and a miss there, so we're going to get another shot. Seeing that his army's starting to come up to support those Marauder Champions, I'm going to bring my Chaos Lord, and I'm going to try to land him. I'm either get a breath weapon or land him and try to get as much damage as I can before the rest of his army catches up. So yeah, you're going to see that I go to land, but I do pull out and I start backing my men up just because his army is catching up to me, and I want to take my time with it. So you can see right here the Hell Cannon's done a lot of damage. Just like 3 shots has done that. So that thing's always fun to play with. I do get a really good breath attack on the what are these things called? The Warhounds. And I keep trying to get a land here, and I just don't want to get my Chaos Lord out of position. So I do end up landing on these Marauder Champions, or Horsemaster, excuse me. But he does run away. He is force pathing and pulling away. So we did get we killed 1 Norscan Warhound, and we did get 1 unit of his Marauder Horsemasters. And you can see we're doing our range damage. So I would say that we're ahead right now. So our armies. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I did cast a fire spell. I casted both of them, actually, and I put it right in the front. So if you see your army starting to move forward, cast it. Count like 5 seconds. What would take them to move into it, and then cast it. And I did both, and look how much damage it did. The Firestorm and the Vortex. So our front line is getting ready to engage here, and you guys will see how well the Chaos Warriors of Great Weapons will actually trade with the Chaos Marauders. We will have the advantage, as you can see right here. We are winning pretty much every engagement. So, since my line was a little bit wider, I am going to start flanking around and trying to get into his, his range contingent. Over here, I do land my unit. So we have the Chosen, we have a Marauder, and we have my Chaos Sorcerer all collapsing in, trying to snipe Throg. But you're going to see, look how much damage Throg is doing to my Chaos Sorcerer. And when I do realize this, I'm trying to pull him out, guys, but he's getting trapped in by all the horses. Excuse me. Luckily, his mass is enough where I can pull him out. But still, that could have been a really big mistake for me. If he would have, killed my lord there and that leadership drop. So we have won the main line engagement here. So our men are getting into the back. You can see that I've already gotten into the Marauder here with javelins and shutting them down. But fortunately for me, there wasn't a lot of targets for him to shoot. The only really large thing I had was, my lord. But he's over here dealing with Throg. So, yeah, guys, we'll go ahead and just kind of... I'm sorry, I apologize for the lag here. You can see that he did get into my Soul of Damnation, which was unfortunate. I wasn't really paying attention. And at this point, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to lose it. But you can see the balance of power is actually in my my opponent's favor here, and that's because of, the mismanagement that I've done of my lord. Sending him in to attack Throg probably wasn't the smartest idea. I should have had him over here supporting, cleaning up all these units, and then I could collapse on him. But yeah, the Chosen of Great Weapons, the Halberds, and all that are just they're gonna beat pretty much anything that he could throw at him. So balance of power is starting to shift back into my my favor. Starting to go a little bit in the middle. You can see that I do send in the Marauder Horsemasters into melee to deal with those those hounds, and those hounds actually will beat me. I got lucky just because their leadership was low. Otherwise, they would have killed those guys. So yeah, you look here in the main engagement, we've pretty much broken all his infantry, but we have his lord right here still to deal with, and we have his Famir Balefriend. So we're just going to do a little chasing right now, just trying to clean things up. I am going to get a breath weapon on the Balefriend here. We'll go ahead and look at the damage. So yeah, that's not too bad, guys. I mean, I almost took him down, half health. I mean, maybe a quarter of his health. So, and it really, busts his leadership. So, seeing that Throg is all by himself, guys, I'm just gonna, now I'm just gonna pin him down and get him trapped in. So this is, this is ideal for me. He's getting hit from every end. We have Chosen with, with great weapons, doing the armor piercing, and yeah, we even got Halberds in there with their anti-large. So yeah, this is not good for him. Over here, you can see that I'm just trying to, keep some of his routed units from coming back. So I'm starting to focus my Marauder Horsemasters on his Famir. I don't want those guys coming back because they could, they could do a little damage for us. So over here, I'm just using, since my Lord is so low, I'm gonna just, try to get rid of all the shaft. Try to get all the units that are by themselves, that are routing. I don't want them to come back. I have a big enough pocket here. They're all high enough leadership that they're not going to break fighting Throg. So there's no sense putting my Lord at risk. So just remember that, guys. If you're in a situation like that and your Lord is maybe a few hits from dying, use your men. As long as your men are high enough, you don't need to put him at risk. So I am going to land on the javelins. And keep in mind, guys, these guys don't have anti-large up close. It's only far. So you are safe to land your dragon or lord into units like that. You can see that we finally have broken Throg. So yeah, at this point, guys, this is my game. You can see the balance of power is coming back into my power, and yeah, that's game. So we'll look at the end screen here, and we'll talk about some of the keys to my success. But there was a few mistakes that I did in this game. Yeah, pretty much diving my lord on top of Throg just because I thought he was supported. That was really risky, and it almost cost me the game. But as for the Chaos Warriors with great weapons, though, yeah, they traded good with the Marauders. I mean, they're cheaper and they hit harder. So for my build, I mean, the real MVPs, I would say. I mean, there wasn't any unit that really sticks out. Pretty much everybody just performed the way that they needed to. The Marauders getting that early catch on some of his Marauders was really good for me. Kind of set the tone. And yeah, we got a lot of damage with my fire spells. I know I didn't really zoom in on it when it was happening, but yeah, 54 kills. That's not too bad. And you saw that most of the time he was fighting Throg, so all those other ones were caused by spells. As for my opponent, good game, Roken 0001. This was a really good build. The only problem is if you're going to try this kind of thing against Chaos, just keep in mind that your armor-piercing units are going to be inferior to Chaos. So, what could you have done to balance this out? Well, go more Famir. Use the army. Go the regular. What are they called? The regular Marauder champions. Maybe cut down on a few of those, and then add a Famir, just a regular one, like the Miststalkers. They would actually sunder the armor of these guys and make it easier for your other units to attack. The javelins were a good pick. The Famir was a good pick. Yeah, I mean it's a good build. It's just Chaos is the ultimate armored baddie, armor piercing. They're one of the strongest melee races out there, so you just got to keep that in mind. So, all right, guys, it's Atticus, and that was just a quick one for you. I'll probably do a few other games with different races, just to change it up. Keep the people happy. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.